The Busan couple's disappearance is named one of the top unsolved cases in South Korea, where a couple is seen going in but never coming out of their apartment, literally disappeared without a trace, and they've been missing for the last 9 years. This case also involves a mysterious ex-girlfriend of the missing victim and their complicated relationship. According to the police, the deeper they dig into this case, the more baffling it becomes. It's actually been exactly 9 years since the couple disappeared on May 28th. So the South Korean media have been recovering this case, and still so many people are confused as to how this case can possibly be the literal definition of the perfect crime. I also covered this case a few years ago, but that video got demonetized, and also I found even more information, a deeper look into this case. There is so many theories into this case. I have to know your opinion and what you think could be the possibility. And at the end of the day, I always believe sometimes the truth is simpler than what it seems. I just want to take a second to say I know I have a lot of global audience, and it would mean the world for you to share this video, because one of the suspects that we'll be talking about in today's video lives in Norway. If you guys are around the area or potentially know the suspect or related to this person, it would mean a lot for the South Korean police to get more information so that we potentially have a break in this case so that the family can have some answers. A like in this video, comment down your thoughts. Remember to subscribe to GRAZY TV to allow these stories to be continuously published and talked about. So the missing of Busan case couple's case happened exactly 9 years ago on May 28th, 2016. So this is a newlywed couple. The husband was named Chun Min-kum. He was 34 years old at the time in 2016. We're gonna call him Mr. J for the sake of this video. And the wife Choi Sung-hee, she was 33 years old and pregnant at the time. Now, they were only married for about 7 months. They got married in November of 2015. So the husband, Mr. J, he owned and operated a restaurant with his friend, one of the co-workers. And Miss Choi, she was a theater actress and a theater actress teacher at an academy. She was actually one of the main roles in a theater, a play that was about to make its debut 4 days after, since they were missing. Again, Miss Choi was pregnant at the time, so it seemed like they had a lot going in their lives just to drop everything and disappear. Now, we have one of the only CCTV footages of the couple being alive. So on May 27th of 2016, at 10 p.m., Miss Choi is seen coming home taking the elevator after bringing some groceries. Also, she was coming home from her work as a teacher at an acting academy. Then about 4 hours later, Mr. J is seen coming home on the 28th at around 3:30 a.m. after finishing his duties at the restaurant. This would be the last time the couple would be ever seen alive. On May 28th, Jay's father says that he was calling his son because he wanted to deliver some vitamins for the family, and Mr. J did not pick up. And it seems like, the father was living in close proximity of the couple, so he went to go visit his restaurant. He went to the restaurant, and the coworker, the other boss, his friend, said, I got a call that Jay cannot come in to work because he had some emergency. Mr. J did not specify what this emergency was and just told the coworkers, hey, I won't be coming in. And then Miss Choi's coworkers, so the theater staff, received a text message from allegedly Miss Choi saying that she will not be able to be on the show anymore due to personal circumstances. And Miss Choi just kind of dropped a ball and said that I can't do it, I can't participate. The text read, I cannot go on with the show anymore. I got into an incident and is in the hospital again. I'm sorry for leaving the show like this. I won't be able to talk for a while. I'm sorry. So what allegedly Miss Choi is talking about here is that Miss Choi had a history of depression, and there was a time in the past when Miss Choi tried to self, you know what I mean? And that's what she's talking about here, saying that she tried to self again and she was in the hospital. Now, the staff who received this message says that it was odd because the way that the text was written was definitely not how Miss Choi normally texted. Now, people definitely have patterns. The way you text is an unconscious pattern that everybody has. Especially the Korean language has a lot of different ways that you can word things. Formally, informally, there's, interchangeable things. So the way she texted was definitely not coming from Miss Choi herself. Now, from May 29th to 31st, a friend, a coworker, and the theater staff, all three of them, would get a call from Mr. J. He said that he won't be able to come to work for a while, and his wife won't be able to come to work either. According to those who received a call from Mr. J, especially the coworker, the restaurant owner of Mr. J, says that his voice sounded off. They say that it did sound like him, but apparently it sounded like he hasn't slept in 2 days, like he was in a terrible condition with his voice. He said, quote, "When he comes back and solves this problem, he'll be able to tell his friend what happened." Now, there's a lot of mystery around these calls because were these calls really from Mr. J or not? Was it somebody pretending to be him? Apparently, according to his coworker, it did sound like him, just that like his voice was super, like he was sick or haven't slept, like his condition was not normal. So very well, it could have been really Mr. J calling all these people, or it could have been somebody totally random, like a random man. For example, if somebody pretended to be me and it was a super short call, like, "Hey, I can't come today, I can't explain bye." And on top of that, if it sounds like my voice is like I haven't slept in 2 days and it's raspy, you might think it's me, but it could have been somebody else. So this is a mystery here. Or again, it could have been Mr. J, somebody had a knife next to him and his voice was really raspy and he had to say something under a thread. Could be that too. Now, on June 2nd, Mr. J's father would report the couple missing to the police, which also was very interesting because Mr. J's father apparently did not alert Miss Choi, the wife's family, his in-laws, and only kept this information to himself until June 7th when the investigation actually started. That's when Miss Choi's family side knew about the couple going missing. So they were like, "Why didn't you tell us like a few days before? That's a little odd. Like, do you know something?" But according to Mr. J's family, they say that, they're grown-ups, let's wait till maybe they went on a vacation and then just didn't tell us, didn't want to, alert anything, get anyone into a panic mode. Now, when police and the family got to the apartment, it was definitely strange because there was dog poop everywhere because they had a tiny little white dog. And clearly, it seems like the dog wasn't taken care of for about a week. There was also food that was kind of going rotten, so clear indication that no one had been inside of the apartment for a while. And remember those groceries that Miss Choi was holding in the elevator? It seems like those groceries weren't even put in, so the milk was spoiled, like the bag was still out, indicating that they could have gone missing literally the day of, or the moment that Miss Choi went to our apartment, something happened. But police say that there were no indication that there was a struggle, so everything else then, other than rotten food and the poop, there was no indication that there was an intruder trying to steal something from their house or anything like that. Now, the things that were missing inside of the apartment were their passport, ID, their phones, and a laptop. Also, the clothes that were seen on the day of the CCTV, they couldn't find that in the house, so they most likely believe that if they left the apartment, they left with the clothes that were seen on the 27th and 28th CCTV footage. Really interesting how their ID and passport was missing. Were they trying to escape something last minute and just like fly somewhere, take a boat somewhere? And the family do say that the couples loved their dogs like it was their child, so there's no way they would have left their pet dog inside of the house unless they were about to come back just within a couple hours or a day. So let's talk about the apartments because this is where the mystery gets really crazy. Although this was a pretty old apartment building, there were 21 CCTVs around the whole premise, which technically is a lot. There's 21 CCTVs that covered the elevator outside of the apartment and the parking lots. So the couples were seen going into the apartment, but they were never seen going outside of the apartment. Police and the family say that they took days to look through every single CCTVs and the couple were never seen going out of the apartment, which the police and the experts had to figure out, was that even possible? So one of the only ways it would be possible to not be seen going outside, basically not be seen by the cameras at all, is if they took the emergency stairs down. Now, they were living on the 15th floor. That is almost at the top. So think about going down the stairs 15 floors. That's a lot. And Miss Choi, remember, she was pregnant, go directly below the CCTV camera, then into a curve, as you could see here, and leave the parking lot. So there are blind spots, but even for the professionals, it took them some time and like multiple practices in order to have the perfect blind spot in order to not be seen by the cameras. And it also means that you would have to leave through another entrance that connects to the parking lot, not like the main doors, which is something that only like the residents of the apartment that's been living there for a while knows, which is why experts call this, if this is how they really left the apartment, super complicated and a very strategic way of exiting the apartment. Unless you were like the security guy there, unless you've been living there, like you literally went to the security footage room and had to like memorize everything, how else would you know? Like you have to know the floor plans of this apartment really well, or like pay the security guy or something. And that's where the mystery is just crazy. Like other than the security guy who's watching the tapes every day or the owner of the building, like how would you know that? So there was a case in Japan apparently that was very similar to a case like this, where a woman was seen going into an apartment but never going out. And later they found out and solved this case in Japan. The suspect was her neighbor that was like right next door. So he kidnapped her and disposed of her body little by little every single day. That's the only way that like she was never caught on camera going out. So she never left the apartment technically. So because of that, police thought, okay, maybe the couple might be somewhere in the building, but they did a thorough search. They went to the attic of where the water tank is in the apartment. They went to the basement. They said they checked every crevices of the apartment and found zero evidence of the couple being inside of the building. Also, some people suggested maybe the couple / if there was a kidnapper there, like they were super lucky in evading the cameras. And according to professionals, for you to be that lucky to not be caught at all, like for the first time, that is pretty rare. That's almost impossible. The next and one of the only signs of the couple being alive after that was their cell phone, the ping in the towers. So Mr. J's phone last pinged on June 2nd and was turned off near a bus stop in Busan. And Miss Choi's phone last pinged in Seoul, all the way in Seoul on June 2nd, 10 p.m. Now, Busan to Seoul is about 5 hours drive. So why was Miss Choi's phone all the way there? I also forgot to mention that Miss Choi's car, one of the only cars that the couple had, was found in the parking lot. So if anything, if the couple decided to go missing themselves, they didn't even take their own car. So the police really dove into this case. They said that this was so mysterious that they use all resources that they can. And out of the 100 possible ways, they looked into all 99 possibilities, such as, did Mr. J have debt? Does Miss Choi and Mr. J have some kind of argument? They asked all their friends and coworker and family. The one avenue that they believe holds the key to solving this case, and that was Mr. J's ex-girlfriend, Miss K. Her real name has never been released due to, laws in South Korea, and we're gonna call her Miss K for the sake of the video. So Miss K and Mr. J have a very, very deep history, okay? This is crazy, but Miss J and Miss K were boyfriend and girlfriends from high school. So they seem to be high school lovers, their own first boyfriend and girlfriend experience, their first love. Their relationship started from high school to college. They, for some reason, broke up. And then Miss K went on to meet somebody else and she got married in 2004. But within only apparently few months, Miss K would get a divorce from her first husband. And one of the reasons, and there was a whole divorce lawsuit, according to Miss K's first husband, is that because she was out cheating with Mr. J. What? Lawsuit took over a year to resolve because, in South Korea, there is a law where you can sue the person that your spouse cheated with. And you can get like money out of this. Now, I'm not going to just blame Mr. J because Miss K, I think, is fully part of this as well. love is a two-way street, and she was participating in this as well. And apparently, like during the time of this divorce lawsuit, Miss K was trying to contact Mr. J, and apparently Mr. J like ghosted her for over a month, and he went to like live with his parents for a while. And Miss K got really hurt because she thought that they still had like a love relationship, and she was getting a divorce because of their relationship, the cheating. And Mr. J was like ghosting her and like didn't want to be part of it, didn't want to be blamed anymore, didn't want to, take the blame and responsibility for part of why she was getting a divorce. So you could see even from the beginning, Miss K and Jay had a very interesting toxic dynamic, and they just weren't able to cut each other off even after Miss K got married. So after that, Mr. J goes on to meet Miss Choi. They were in a relationship, but apparently, according to Miss Choi's friends, as they were dating, Miss Choi found out about Miss K. And apparently, while they were dating, she was so stressed about Miss K constantly butting into their relationship that is one of the reasons why Miss Choi got a therapist, and she was depressed. And she, again, in the beginning of the story, I said she tried to herself, and that was related to this toxic relationship now they were having, as Mr. J and Miss K were still connected together. Are you following me here? This is a crazy love, complicated story. But according to Miss Choi's friend, she still really had feelings for Jay, and later on they got together and they were in a relationship once again. And fast forward to November 2015, they would get married. Now, while Mr. J and Choi's relationship and they were dating, Miss K would go on and meet a new man. She met her second husband, and she actually got married in 2012. So she had a new husband, her second husband, and she's out here living great in Norway in 2014. She moves to Norway with her second husband. Now, with her second husband, Miss K would have a daughter. But unfortunately, this newborn, in March of 2015, Miss K's daughter would pass away due to health issues. And a lot of people believe this is when Miss K's toxicity and her threats to Mr. J and this toxic connection just amplified after her child's death. After Miss K's child died, she started to threaten Mr. J that, hey, if you guys get married, I am going to bring all the gangsters from South Korea and ruin the wedding. She started to harass and threaten this couple, blaming Mr. J for the death of her child. And Mr. J's father said, hey, if she's threatening you and she's being toxic, why are you even tolerating all of this? Just cut her off. And Mr. J told his father that you don't know Kay. She is a scary woman. Quote, that's what he told his father. And the coworker of Mr. J's restaurant business, the other owner of the restaurant, they have a joint restaurant together. He remembers that every single day, or almost every single day, he would go to the cabinet inside of his restaurant and he would have a second phone just to talk to Miss K. Mr. J is in his 30s at this point. He was unable to cut off his relationship with his ex-girlfriend, Miss K, for over a decade. So during work at his restaurant, the coworker says that, yeah, he would go talk to Miss K on his second phone every single day, and the conversations would last hours. And the coworker would ask Mr. J, why can't you cut her off? And Mr. J said, I can't. He literally said, I can't because she's a scary woman. And it's just mind-boggling to everybody that a grown man can't cut off his ex-girlfriend for over a decade. So it seems like there was some kind of a psychological trap, imprisonment that Miss K was doing to Mr. J. But again, I'm not saying Mr. J is off the hooks. He could have been very well part of this, and he could have very well participated in all of this. And right before the Choi couple would get married, friends of Miss Choi remembers that there was a time when Mr. J was talking to Kay on the phone. She was yelling at him, put your girlfriend/wife, your fiance on the phone right now. And Mr. J handed the phone over to his fiance, Miss Choi. And apparently, Miss Choi had to talk to Miss K and listen to all the threats from her, saying that he ruined my life. If you guys get married, I can't not watch you be happy together because he ruined my life. He is the reason why my child died. Why would you, As a man, like, give the phone to your fiance if you know that your ex-girlfriend is crazy. Like, why would you put your girlfriend through that? Like, fast forward to November of 2015, when Mr. J and Miss Choi would have their wedding ceremony. Apparently, Mr. J was so worried because Miss K threatened them with bringing mafias and gangsters to their wedding that Mr. J had to hire bodyguards. That is not normal, you guys. Like, what kind of threat was Miss K doing that you have to hire bodyguards at your own wedding? I mean, did Miss K come from a wealthy family? Does she really know all these mafia? Was it just the lies and like the scare tactic and manipulation, gaslighting Mr. J, and he believed all of this? Maybe. But thankfully, nothing happened on wedding day and everything went smoothly. Now, the threats did not stop here. So Miss Choi apparently was getting threats from Miss K directly herself, and Miss Choi changed her phone number. And somehow magically, like, Miss K was able to find Choi's phone number, new phone number. And a lot of people are saying, how is that possible? She's living in Norway. How did K get the new phone number of Miss Choi? It's kind of obvious that maybe her husband, Jay, gave the new phone number to Choi, and he was willing to give the new phone number of Miss Choi so that his ex-girlfriend can continuously threaten his wife. So you see why a lot of people are saying that Mr. J is not technically the victim here. He kind of enabled a lot of this. But again, I know that psychological imprisonment, gaslighting, manipulation is a real thing. I've been through it. We can't say for sure until Mr. J magically is still alive and he tells his side of the story. And apparently Miss K's second husband knew about all this and he was in on it. He's like, yeah, he ruined your life, honey. Like, let's get back at him. Yeah, keep on threatening them. Because apparently he knew all of this and he didn't stop it. Now, this is where we get into the crazy investigation. Remember, the couple went missing May 27, 28-ish. So they found out that Miss K entered South Korea 15 days prior on May 8th. She was living all the way in Norway and she came back to South Korea. It's been 2 years since she entered Korea. And Mr. K's husband entered Korea on May 14th. And both of them, the K couple, went back to Norway on June 7th, exactly the day when the investigation started. It was a little too late for the police because they started the investigation and they left South Korea right on the day. So police went to Miss K's family, her parents in South Korea. Her parents were still living in Korea and they went to them and said, "Did you know your daughter came back to Korea?" And they were like, "What? No, we had no idea." So Miss K literally came to South Korea. She did not notify any of her Korean friends and family that she came back to Korea. She hasn't seen her parents in years. She doesn't even notify them. They pleaded with Miss K to come back to South Korea for an investigation regarding the missing Busan couple, and she said, "Nope, I can't come back to South Korea. I don't have time." She refused every investigation coming to Korea. The family offered to pay for her flights and hotel. She said nope. And police had no other choice but to do the investigation through email. So they sent her a series of questions. Now, she claims that the last time she talked to Mr. J was September of 2015, right before he got married. And she says that actually she was the one who told Jay to stop contacting her. And she also claims that the two were never in a romantic relationship, so they never broke up because they were never together. Police also say that it's interesting, she wrote out almost like a script word by word her conversation with Jay as if this was like a play script. She denied sending Jay and Choi any threats and that she was not part of this and there's no reason for her to go back to Korea. And the police started to question her about her trip to South Korea, which she told nobody about. And she said that she only spent cash because she was from Norway, she didn't have any bank accounts, she slept at saunas, motels, and only took public transportation. And she came to Korea to commemorate her daughter's death and that it was just a vacation. This is clearly somebody that does not want to leave any trace. You do not come to a country, only live at saunas and motels, especially in a country that you were born in and that you were living most of your life in, and you don't even tell your parents and friends. That's very odd. According to Miss K's family, her parents say that actually a few weeks or a month before her coming to Korea, they got a call from their daughter, Kay, saying that, "Hey, could you please send me about $9,000 because I'm going on an Africa trip." So Kay's parents sent her money, allegedly thinking that she was in Africa. Why did she need all of that money for? Korean police were pretty sure that Miss K had something to do with the disappearance of the Busan couple, and because she was not cooperating, they took it a step further and officially booked her as the main suspect for the missing couple. They requested to the international interpretation for the help of her arrest, and the Norway police did follow up, found her at her house, and arrested her. Now, she was not directly extradited to South Korea because she got a lawyer and she fought for this. So for a year and a half, she fought with her lawyer to the Norway court systems that there is not enough evidence for the South Korean police to charge her for murder or connection to the missing couple, and that she should stay in Norway. This case took over a year and a half, and the Norway judges sided with her, saying, yeah, the South Korean police do not have enough evidence to charge her, so she gets to stay in Norway and cannot be extradited. On top of that, Miss K is actually not a citizen, or she doesn't have green card in Norway. She's just like a resident there. So this is very, very interesting. So, I mean, the Norway judges sided with her. So the Korean police were at a dead end. So a documentary crew and a family of Mr. J went all the way to Norway to try and meet up with her. And they found where she was living. They went there. There's a video footage of this, and they're like, hey, like, I'm here, talk to me. Like, what happened? She called the police on them, and the Norway police came and escorted them out, saying that you cannot be here. Now, because of Miss K's attraction to this case, she had to move a couple times, and apparently in Norway you don't have to register where you're currently living, apparently. So she moved a couple times, and they're not even registered where they're living, so nobody knows at this moment where they exactly are now. Police say that unless they have new evidence to submit, the Norway police will not cooperate with them, and unless they have something solid, like, there's nothing else that they can do, especially because she's in a new country. But because of that, she can never come back to South Korea unless she wants to deal with this. So professionals say that there's a high possibility that when Ms. K came back to South Korea on May 8th, she definitely contacted the couple, especially Mr. J. There's too many ties between the two, and Mr. J definitely knew that Ms. K was in South Korea. So the theories could be that did Ms. K really follow up with her threats? She really knew some gangster mafia, and did she hire a hitman to be waiting inside of the couple's apartment? And when Miss K brought her groceries up, she could have been threatened by someone inside of the house. Now, there was no evidence of a break-in or an intruder according to the police, so that's also a mystery, but her groceries were definitely on the counter, so something had to happen at that moment. Now, Mr. J came back 4 hours later, so was again somebody waiting inside of the house where Mr. J had to cooperate because they were threatening, like, hey, we're gonna kill your wife if you don't listen to us, and they ordered for the couple to go down the stairs and somehow evade the cameras and leave that way. Does that mean the hitmen were able to study the cameras and the apartments for weeks, possibly months before, and was able to pull this off perfectly? Or there is a theory that the couple themselves, they ran away. Like, they were like, okay, we're getting threats by K, so we have to leave and we cannot be seen by anyone because she is this scary. She's gonna contact her parents and everyone we know, so we want to disappear. That's also a theory. That's why that there was no break-in inside of the house. They were able to take the passport, their IDs and things like that, only the necessities, and left right away. And because they were living in the apartment, they somehow knew like how to evade the cameras, but they also didn't take their car. Now, the theory that the couple ran away and they're still in hiding doesn't make sense, because then Miss K would come forward and say, hey, I had nothing to do with this. Like, they ran away on their own. So why would Miss K and her current husband be constantly running away? Why can't they talk to the police if there's nothing related to each other, right? I'm thinking, like, was a security guy paid off because somehow they knew how to evade the CCTV footages? Or one of the main theories could be that did Mr. J have anything to do with this? Did Mr. J like fall into this crazy psychological manipulation by K, and he ended up like murdering his pregnant wife just so that he can like get out of this because he was like inside of this like crazy mind cult from Miss K? But then if so, why didn't Miss Choi put in her groceries? Like, there was milk apparently and ramen and things like that. Some say that maybe Miss Choi was kidnapped first. She was taken down the stairs first, and then Mr. J, when he came back home, like, he was taken second. I mean, that's even harder because now you have to evade the camera 2 times. But till this day, there's also no bodies found of the couple. So that is crazy as well. So hopefully somebody, if you guys are watching, living in Norway, know any information, please go to the South Korean police. If you guys know anything about this case, any other theories of what you think could have happened, please leave a comment down below and share this video so that this case does not go cold and one day we find out the truth of what happened, especially for the sake of this poor unborn child. Thank you guys so much for watching and see you guys in the next case.